viewers, thank you for joining us. My name is Gladwell Njoroge, and this is The Journey. The Journey is a show for you where we discuss issues and matters youth, a show for you and with you. And we sure hope that you have always been blessed by this show and that you're continuing to learn a lot as we continue to discuss issues that affect the young people. So last week we had a topic on restoration, and we were talking about restoration from addiction and substance abuse. And today we are going to be continuing with the journey of restoration, and with a focus today we are going to be dealing with healing the wounds of trauma, with a specific focus on how do you deal with grief and loss. And to help me discuss that topic are very wonderful ladies and beautiful ladies. By the way, Leonie, show ladies, eh? So, yes, so we have Sena Shabari, or Chabari, ameniambia nisionge kama Mkikuyu wa Nyeri. Chabari, who is a youth pastor, and also she's a sociologist by profession. And also we have Fresia Kerago, who is a teacher by profession. So I say, karibuni sana, and kindly say hi to all viewers.
Thank you.
Okay,
Hi viewers. All right. Hi viewers, as you've heard, my name is Fresia Kiragu. I'm so glad to be here, and I know that with my experience and sharing a bit of what I've gone through I'll be of help to somebody who is going through the process of grief. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Sena.
Hi viewers, my name is Sena Chabari. I'm born again. I come from PCA Riruta Parish, where I serve in the youth ministry. I'm glad to be here, and I'm looking forward to engaging with you, and I hope this show will be of help to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. We are really humbled to have you on set today.
Thank you.
So, as we begin our journey today, probably I can start with you, Sena.
Yes, please.
Now, before we even come to the issue of how to deal with grief and loss, what is trauma? You know, when we try to think about trauma, what is this trauma that you're talking about?
Thank you. Trauma, I know it's a big word to some people, but it's as simple as it can be.
Okay.
Trauma is an overwhelming, intense fear, horror, or helplessness caused by loss of someone or something. It can be a person, it can be part of the body, it can be property, it can be anything. Basically, it's caused by loss of someone or something. Yeah.
Oh, so that's why when we're dealing with loss of someone close to you or someone you had a relationship with, then trauma is one of the things that we have to deal with.
Yes, so that person experiences trauma caused by the loss of the person or something. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe Fresia, let me come to you because you're a victim of trauma in some way.
Yes.
So I would like you to tell us your story.
Yeah.
Who is it that you lost in your life, and how was it, you know, the journey, probably where it started and how it has been.
Okay. I lost my mother way back when I was still young. I was around 25, and it was not an easy journey because my mother, I considered her to be the hero in my life. Somebody that I considered that death could not reach her. In fact, when it came, it was a traumatic experience, as she's putting it. And I was not prepared for it, and neither of my siblings were prepared for it, though it was a journey of ailing because she was suffering from high blood pressure that now advanced into a heart failure. It wasn't that easy. And personally, I would say that I had been with her for a long time, maybe over a whole year when she was still ailing. So I really took care of her. I was the one who was free among my siblings. I was the one who was close, though I was still working and I was far from home. But often I would go and pay a visit. She would come to where I was at that time, and I would take her to clinics and would converse and communicate. But not one point did I ever think that it would reach to a point that I'm losing her. So to me, it was a great shock, and it really... I would say I was disoriented. I was disoriented.
So maybe take us back to that time.
Yes.
When now the news comes to you that your mom is no more. You know, just give us a snippet of
Yes.
that experience?
Yeah, a brief story that she had gone to hospital. She had been admitted for a week or so, and then she went back home. It was in the duration of December. Actually, her passing on was on 24th, on the eve of Christmas.
Wow.
So she had become like, to us, she was so okay. She was so okay. No, her feet were swelling. By that time, she was very okay. I took her from the hospital. We went home with her. And as we prepare for Christmas, because friends and relatives were still coming home, because we had planned to have Christmas at our home place. So she's home and delighted, glad. I know there is a saying that death sometimes deceives. So I felt like she deceived us because she was so very well and very energetic. And that same day, some friends from church had come. I was the only one with her at home at that particular time. So when they came, she's the one actually who was serving them. Yes, she was serving them. She was taking meals, tea, and food that we had prepared for lunch. And they sat in the living room. They sat talking and chatting. Then all of a sudden, I am in the kitchen, and then a lady comes among the friends, come to where I was seated in the kitchen, and asked me, Fresha, does your mom behave in a certain way? Does she breathe in a certain way? And I told her, no, I've never seen her act in such a manner or breathe in a funny way. And then she told me, just come. And at that time, my heart, inside I felt something is not right. I became so anxious. But I took courage and went to that living room. And I found her seated. I would say at that time she had lost the breath. So she was so seated, very well, smiling. But then she was not responding. I tried calling her severally. She would not respond. So looking at her pulse, it was gone. Yeah, so that was just an indication. But you cannot conclude at that time that she's completely gone.
Yes.
So together with the friends, because it's a belief that God had brought those people at that particular time for a reason. Because if I was alone, I don't know what I could have done. And together with the help of those who were around, they assisted. We carried her. She was so heavy. We carried her, and one of them had a car. Then they took her to the hospital. But deep inside, my instincts told me, she's gone. She's gone. So I'm there. I would say I didn't cry much, but I cried. I got so emotional. So the way I didn't go. I was left at home because there was nobody. I was left at home.
We'll come to that point of grief.
Yes.
But let me come to you, Sena.
Yes.
There's something she has mentioned that her mom was ill for some time.
Yeah.
But that never prepared her. It was not like she was now ready. Okay, I'm ready to receive this. Is there a point when someone can say, now I am ready for loss,
No. I don't think there is a time that one can say that they are ready for loss. No one wants to part with their loved ones or with their loved something. And maybe looking at grief, it's good we understand what grieving is. Yeah, grieving is basically mourning. The key word is mourning due to loss of something or someone. And grieving is a process. You can never be prepared to address a loss. And death is hidden to all of us. So no one can say that this person is dying tomorrow. We can only think like, or maybe say, he looks like he's going, but we can't be sure that this person is going. Because people have been to ICU for so many days, for months, and they come back. Someone else has just been into a ward, and they pass on. So we cannot say that anyone is ever prepared to get the news.
Yeah.
The news, yeah. Receiving the news of loss, it's not easy.
So, like at the point where now Frecia has lost her mom, and the next thing is people flocking in and coming, and all of us, we want to say something, we want to do something.
Sure.
What are the do's and don'ts? Before even we come to Frecia, and she gives us a real example of some things that probably people did not.
Yeah.
What are the do's and don'ts when now someone has lost someone and you're there as a supportive system?
Thank you. At the point of loss, because it's a tragedy. That person is in a state of confusion. They may not be able to comprehend or even to narrate the story. The best thing you can offer is just be there. Presence. Give them company. Listen to them. If they are willing to talk, allow them to talk. Do not say much. Even if it's a born-again Christian, that's not the time to tell them it is well. At all things worketh together for good. No, they will not understand. In the first point, they are even wondering, does God exist? And if he does, where is he? Isn't he not aware of what we are going through? So at that point, it's not time to preach, to tell them, brother, encourage yourself in Christ. No, it is time to be with them and just be there. Help with the little things that you can do. Help with house chores. If they have children in the house, please take care of the children. Take care of even of them. Be careful that they do not harm themselves, because someone is in not a very good status of mind. They can run out. I remember when we were doing psychosocial aid at Dusit when the terror attack happened. There was that lady who really wanted to kill herself, and she was running up and down. She wanted to hit the road and get the running matatu. So you have to be careful that this person does not go to the extremes. If there are sharp objects around, please be careful. Make sure they are in a place that you are able to monitor them. Do not allow them to be alone in a separate room, because they can commit suicide. So please don't preach to them. Don't talk a lot to them. Much of what you should do is listen to them.
True.
Yeah, listen to them and allow them to cry. Give them a shoulder and just be quiet. Looking at Job's friends in Job chapter 2, they were there. They sat with him for 7 days. They did not utter a word. And after 7 days, Job finally spoke. So when you visit someone who is grieving and does not speak, please do not force them to. Just allow them to be. Let them cry. When they are ready to talk, facilitate the talking so that they can bring it out. But if they are not ready, just be there. Just keep watch on them. Ask them, do you need some water? Can I make some little tea for you? And just help them in the best way you can. Yeah.
So, Precious,
Yes.
going back now to that time,
Yes.
you know, your mom has left you, people are here. You know, tell us some positive, like what you could say, okay, this helped,
Yes.
and what you're like, please never do that to someone, you know.
Now, there's that period before the burial where people will come, and to some it's a tiresome moment because they will come, many of them, you don't even have time to rest, don't have time to relax, and somehow, personally, I appeared to be very strong because I was doing quite a lot of things, but deep inside when I'm alone, I would go back alone and cry. But I love the fact that people came when they are talking, especially now when you talk about other things, you feel very much okay. And you're trying to avoid that particular part because it's still, the wound is still so fresh. So I would not want to talk so much about it at that particular time. Then after the burial, now everybody goes his or her way, and you find that you are left alone. You are alone. I found myself in such a state because I was still in Nairobi. I've come from home. My siblings have gone, each one has gone to his or her place, and I'm left alone in the house. And I remember I had a friend, and coincidentally it happened to be Senna because we've been friends for quite a while. And when during that time she would come, not necessarily to tell me or to talk about my mom, because she had met her just once, but she would come and would talk, because I believe she understood the stage or the where I am at. She would just come, not talk or anything, but I would pour out myself. If I feel like I want to cry, if I feel like I want to blame somebody, because at that time I was feeling bitter. I don't even know why I was bitter. I was so angry. I was angry somehow at myself. I was angry at some relatives. I was angry at my mom for dying. So at that time I'm in a state of confusion. But when you have somebody, because I had her and some others who would come, I felt a relief. And I felt like now life is now getting back to normal. I felt like, because I was still working, that I didn't have even the courage to go back to work. And the time when I reported back to work, is when I felt another wave. Because everybody, like you're drawing, they know what has happened, and it's like you're drawing their attention. And anybody would come to me with that approach of, oh, I'm sorry, it shall be well, it is okay. You know, it triggered something, and I would feel like, please don't tell me about that for now. Don't tell me, because the wound is still fresh. I would even feel like I want to cry the next minute. So, and I want to be in somewhere isolated and just alone. So I would say there are things. One of the things that you can help somebody who is grieving, just be there, as she's saying, not to just tell her or advise. That's not a time for advice. It's a time to be there, listen to him or her, let them be. Just let them be. If sometimes I would feel like I want even to blame God, because I prayed for her healing, it never happened. So I was feeling so angry. God, why did you even have to allow this to happen? And I am a believer, I'm born again. But she would not condemn. She would not condemn or tell me, don't blame God, don't. Yeah, she would just nod and say, oh, wow. Like, give me a listening ear. And that really helped in the process of healing. But at that time, I'm not criticizing, but there are some who would come, like in Romans 12. We know that in all things, God worked together for good. At that time, you can't see any good in it. I didn't see any good in it. So I would like, inside my heart, I would tell them, yeah, I know all that. But that's not what I need right now. I just want to be me. Yes, I just want to feel and allow me to grieve, allow me to cry. Yeah, allow me to go through this. Because somehow I don't understand what is happening. But because of the faith I have in Christ, I just knew that God will take me through this. I didn't know how long it would take, but still I had that hope that God will still take charge and is taking control of it. Yes.
Wow. Sana, listening to Freshia,
Yes.
you know, what are these triggers that you can actually tell someone is going through trauma? Because we come there for a week, at most probably, then we leave, we go.
Sure.
Even family, there's no support. And sometimes we, like she said, she was very strong.
Yeah.
So all of us will think she's okay. What are some of the things you should look out for? And after burial, what next before we take a break?
After burial, many of us go to the house of grief when it is before the burial. Once the death is announced, we converge and we do the mambolezi and do everything. But how many of us go back to that homestead after the burial? So I encourage that we make calls to people who have lost their loved ones or lost something. We visit them and just be with them, check on them, how are they faring? Because we need to support them. The social support is very important, as much as we also encourage people to seek psychological counseling, but social support is the first thing. Some of the things that we can see to tell that someone is grieving or someone is traumatized is the way they do their things. Because one, somebody who was very outgoing may be very withdrawn and silent. So at that point, you should be careful to know that they are still in grief, they are still processing, they are not over yet. So we need to be careful to know how best we can help them. If somebody is so quiet and all of a sudden he becomes so talkative because they want to talk about it again and again and again, that person is traumatized. Allow them to talk. The more you talk about it, the better you become, because talking is therapy. The more they talk about it, the better they become, because it brings out what is within them and then they get better. Then somebody may be so unkept. They don't take care of themselves. Yeah, they keep their hair unkept. If it's a lady, for example, she used to do makeup, she would change her hairstyle every 2-3 weeks. Then this is now the second month. This person has not undone her hair. She doesn't do makeups anymore. So the person basically tells you that they are dealing with something. So it's the high time that you work with them, encourage them, be with them, allow them to share with you. And many a times people don't know how to help someone, to help them share about how they are feeling. And that's why we do quoting the Bible. As Christians, we are very good. The Bible says, and even Jesus wept. So when someone is crying, please don't stop them from crying. Let them cry. Crying is therapy. Allow them to cry. do not shut them down. Let them cry. If they want to scream, allow them to scream, because that is what is helping them. So what can we do to help someone process or be able to talk? Because many a times they don't know what to talk. So there are 3 helping questions maybe can help someone. I may not be sure what to tell someone who is mourning or grieving. So maybe these 3 questions will help them. The first question is, ask them what happened. What happened? Because that basically will give them an opportunity to share, like Fresh has shared a lot. They can share about anything and do not interrupt their sharing. Maybe you can just do the minimal prompts and say, yes, yes, please. To show them that you are following. You follow with your verbals and the non-verbals as well. What happened? Let them share. Then at some point when you feel they have shared enough, you can ask them, how did it make you feel? I felt bitter, I felt angry, I felt mad with God, I feel like I don't want to live in this salvation anymore. They will talk about how they feel. Then you can also ask them, what was the hardest part? In her case, Fresh, I would think she would say the hardest part for her was she had already registered in her mind that mom is well and healed. She's now back at home. Then she disappears all of us. She dies all of a sudden. I'm sure that would be one of the hardest part for her because they were preparing for Christmas. When she was in the hospital, maybe she was thinking she might go. But when she is home and well, how now? That could be the hardest part. Then the 4th question, the final one, you can ask them, what helped you to cope? Because now they have been in the process of grief, they have mourned, they have asked questions, what helped them to cope? At that point, maybe they will say, I had my auntie who worked with me, I had my brothers, I had so and so, I got my pastor worked with me, gave me some counseling sessions, so and so. They will talk about the social support they have received, they will talk about good things that were taught to them, so and so came and stayed with us for 1 week. That is what helped them to cope. So those 4 questions will really help you if you are not sure what to tell the person, at least to give them some kind of facilitation so that they can talk. Yeah, what happened? How did it make you feel? What was the hardest part? And what helped you cope?
Wow.
Yeah,
Very important questions. Yeah. So in our next segment, we'll be talking about how do we deal with grief, now the journey, the journey. Healing journey now.
It's a journey.
But before we take that break, maybe Freshia, sometimes people think that taking away memories of the person who has left is the best thing to do. Probably, are there instances where you found people, trying to remove everything that you had of your mother or something in a minute?
Yes. I remember after the burial and some of the relatives, a few came back and unknowingly some wanted just to go with clothes because now they are there. There are many. My mom's size can't fit me, or even my sister, and now they felt now it's time to dispose. And at that time I was so angry. I was so angry at them. I just felt like they are taking her away because that's the only thing that made me feel the connection I still have with her. So I felt so angry at them. I was so bitter. Yeah, to a point that I felt, wow, you really don't care. And all you cared is this. Yeah, but with time, after realizing and going through the process, I realized that, okay, they didn't intend it for wrong. It's only that the timing was not wrong. The timing was wrong. They wouldn't have come at that time. Because later on, we dispensed. But at that particular time, no. We still want to feel, I want to hold on to this memory. Yeah, and to some it's different because for me, I was not afraid to see even her pictures or even see anything that reminds me of her. But for my sister, it was on the contrary. It's like she was avoiding. She was avoiding because when my mom was passing, she was far away. So she didn't understand. I'm the one who was going with taking care of her. So to some it's different. There are some, they don't want. But to me, I want to hold on to that memory. So I would advise, please, because you don't know, you don't know.
Take your time.
You don't know. Take your time and give them time.
Give them time.
Give them time.
Wow. So we're going to take a short break. When you're back, Senna, you will also help us understand Is it important to suppress? Should you remember
Sure,
this
sure, we
person?
will.
And how does that help in healing?
Yeah.
So we're going to take a short break, but do not touch that dial, because we're going to be back and you're going to be discussing about how now do you take this journey towards healing.
PCEA Chogoria Hospital, a faith-based hospital offering holistic healthcare services and training to the community. We are a level 5 hospital offering curative, preventive and promotive health services located in upper eastern region of the slopes of Mount Kenya along Embu Meru Highway in Chogoria town. We offer both inpatient and outpatient services. We have resident consultants in surgery, gynecology and obstetrics, physician and pediatrics. We also have visiting consultants for cardiology, oncology, dermatology, psychiatry and ophthalmology. We have an emergency casualty operational on a 24 hours basis, outpatient clinics, surgical including orthopedic, major and minor, medical, gynecology and obstetrics, dental, eye, pediatric, psychiatric, diabetes, nutrition, MCH and FP, palliative and rehabilitation services. Our corporate clinic accepts a number of insurances like NHIF, Britam, CIC, Resolution, Pakis, Equity, Kenya Wildlife, MAKL, AAR, Saham, APA, KRA, KCB, Madison, Kenya Power, UAP and NSSF. We also have a branch in Chuka town located right below Family Bank offering outpatient services. Our inpatient services include medical wards, surgical wards, pediatric ward for children, maternity ward, private ward with comfortable individual rooms, and an ICU and HDU for the critically ill patients. Our laboratory is an ISO certified and operates for 24 hours. We also offer X-ray, ultrasound and endoscopy services. Our specialized services include dialysis services, ICU and HDU, orthopedic surgeries like knee and hip replacement, as well as laparoscopic surgeries. Our chaplaincy department provides quality holistic care to all our patients. Our pharmacy is well stocked with medication. Our training services include the Clive Ivan College of Nursing, offering diploma in community health nursing, and have intakes in March and September each year, with residency programs for family medicine, physicians, and general surgery. We appreciate the opportunity to serve the community and offer holistic healthcare. Let PCEA Chogoria Hospital be your hospital of choice. For more information, contact us through 0734 192 208 or 0713 656 186. The Bible should play the most important role in the life of a Christian regarding making decisions, major or minor. God gave humankind a freedom of choice between numerous possibilities, but the basic choice is between good and evil. Bibles are now available at the PCEA head office bookshop, South C, Nairobi. We have Bibles available in English, Kiswahili, and Kikuyu. Make your purchase today. For more information, call 0722 205051.
Welcome back, our viewers. Thank you for staying tuned to CAC TV Kenya. And we have been discussing about healing the wounds of trauma with a specific focus on how do we deal with loss and grief. And before we went for the break, Senna was helping us, with some helping question to help someone grieve. And number one, she told us, you need to ask that person what happened. The other question you can ask is, how did that make you feel? Another question is, what was the hardest part? And the fourth question is, what helped you cope? So welcome back.
Thank you.
Yes, and now to move our discussion forward, I would like to ask, how can we grieve? Now that we said now we're in the process of grieving, how can we grieve in a way that brings healing? No, let's start towards healing.
Yeah, thank you, Gladwell. Grieving is a journey. It is not a one-time thing. It doesn't happen today. You lose someone or something today, and tomorrow you are up and down with business as usual. Grieving is a journey, and so I would want to take us through the journey, the grieving journey, so that at least if you are grieving, you understand at what state are you in which stage are you in now, and what you need to do, or what do people around you need to do to help you move to the next stage. And so there are three major stages in grieving. Upon the occurrence of the incidents or the traumatic incidents, there is a state of confusion. So the first stage is denial and anger. Someone gets so angry and does not accept the fact that so-and-so is dead, this and this has happened, I have lost my job and I have a family to feed. So they are stuck there. In the village of denial, this village, that's where somebody has a lot of questions. One, they are angry with God, with themselves, and if it's a death, with the person who has passed on. Fresh has just said she was angry with the mom. How can you just go? So they are so angry. And they ask themselves so many questions. Where is God? Why did you allow this to happen? Why me? Then they also have a lot of wishes and guilt. I wish I did. I wish I did not do. So they're wondering, I wish nilimpeleka hospitali ingine kubwa, you know. I wish I did this to her, or I did this to me, to so and so. If it's a job, for example, they will say, I wish I did that report in good time. But the fact remains, it is gone. The loss has happened. So they have a lot of questions. They are angry and they do not accept the fact. Somebody is gone, you are still stuck there. You talk to them. At night, you still converse with them. Even during daytime, you are seated and you are just talking to that person. It's like they're just there. You are in denial. You don't accept. In this village, a person may be stuck there for a period of 6 months, 0 to 6 months, in denial. They don't accept. And when you talk about, please, it is this person is gone, and hatarudi. They keep, even on the road, they meet someone who resembles their person, and they're almost running to hug them. Then it's not her. Because at the back of their mind, this person is never dead. So they hope to see them any day. The next stage is the stage of hopelessness, a stage of no hope. They have lost hope. There is no need to live again. And at this point, that's where the suicidal thoughts come. They give up in life. They can get into some kind of addictions to help them cope. That's where you find, if it's a young person, for example, has lost a mom or a dad or a sibling, then they get into drugs. They may get into alcohol or other substance abuse. They may get into bad company because they have lost hope in life. Life has no meaning anyway. Why do I need to live? For what reason? If mom is gone and she was my all, then I don't need to live. A state of hopelessness. That is stage number 2. Then this stage, one may last there, but it depends on the loss and the relationship with the person who has gone or the property you've lost. You may be in this stage for about 6 to 15 months, 6 to 15, but it's dependent. It's not a permanent thing. My grief journey may be different from someone else, so this is just an approximate. So the next stage, the person is progressing slowly. The next stage is the stage of new beginning. The stage of new beginning is where the person now comes to realization of the fact that this thing happened, I cannot reverse it. I need to move on. For example, if somebody had lost a spouse, at this stage, in the stage of hopelessness, they cannot think of remarrying. Never. But in a stage of new beginning, they might start thinking of, I think I am ready for, I can try another marriage. If they had lost a child, I think we can try and get another child. If they had withdrawn, they had and kept themselves, it's the high time now they start applying the makeups, they want to see themselves on the mirror again, they appreciate themselves, their self-esteem has started coming back, and now they have a meaning in their lives. And at that point, they may feel, I can go out. If they used to have some girlfriends, boyfriends, they would want to go out and hang around and have fun. They are now free to go to social gatherings. They wouldn't want to go to weddings and such. At this point, if they had lost a loved one, they are now okay. They can go to a burial of another person. In this stage, now that is the beginning of complete healing. When they are at the new beginning stage, then completeness is coming back and they are ready to move on. But it is not an automatic journey from stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. Sometimes there is a flip back. Someone may fall back from the new beginning to stage 1 of anger and denial because of trigger. Something may trigger them. Maybe the point of, maybe if it was a road accident, whenever they get to that point, they may go again to the first or second stage for some time. It is okay, but then we should be careful that we don't get stuck. When the trigger comes, maybe it's a burial of a loved one and I had lost a loved one, it triggers me and it brings back the memory. Then it is okay, I can be there and mourn a day or two or a few days, but then I should be careful to check whether I am stuck in this stage or I am going back again to the new beginning and moving on with life. So that going back is what makes it a bit difficult. Then again, it's not an automatic thing. From stage 1 to stage 3. You may move from stage 1 to stage 3 direct, skipping stage 2. For example, if somebody has lost a loved one, let me say a spouse, to be a very relevant example, I don't think it is okay, in my view, I don't think it is okay you lose a spouse and within 6 months you remarry. Honestly speaking, that person may not be completely healed. So he's moved from stage of anger, denial, has not gone through the process of healing to be at the new beginning to be able to make the decisions again. That person may fall back. And when they fall back, it may be very difficult for them to come out of it. It may be very difficult to take the journey. So that is called force bridge. You move from stage 1 to stage 3 direct. Ni kama umechukua escalator, you need to take the staircases so that in the staircases you heal day by day as you step on each stair. Thank you.
Fresha,
Yes.
do you identify with these 3 stages?
Totally, I do.
Ama ulichukua lift? Okay.
I do. And I remember after several months, after we buried her, and life seemed to be normal, I was still feeling there is a kiwaru, something inside, and wondering now, how do I cope without her? One, I remember I would go home and I'll find that she has bought something. I'm the last born. So I would find that she has bought something and kept it for me specifically. So going back home, one, she's not there. And then, the expectation. I just felt that home is so empty. My dad is still there. But the connection and the bond we had with her, it was so strong. So I would try to avoid going as often as I used to avoid those such memories and feeling so bitter. Then I was filled with a lot of anger. One, I was angry at myself somehow. When I had recollected and got in touch with my emotions and how I'm feeling inside, because I went through some therapies and it helped me identify those inner emotions and bring them to the surface and deal with them. I was angry at myself because I felt maybe I didn't do enough. I remember one time she mentioned that, because I was still young, that it's kind of, she felt like she's going. I don't know how she felt, but it's like she felt. She told me, no, I'm wondering. No, she told me in our language. I was asking God, am I going before I see you married? And now she's gone. So I blamed myself. What if maybe I would have gotten married earlier? Now this would not have happened. Then I was angry at her. Because several, I had her say that if death and life were to be brought to her, and then she's told to choose between the two, she would choose death. I don't know what it's like. She was in so much pain and anguish, and the heart sometimes it do not like beat so regularly, and she would feel so tired. She would lose sleep for days, so she would feel so tired. I think she had felt like, I don't want to be a burden to my children or the dad, but I just want to go. So I was angry at her. I was angry at the people who are around, because I'm far. My dad is there, and one of my brothers who kept coming in and go. So I felt maybe they didn't give her the enough support that she needed at that particular time. And I was also angry with God, because that's not how I had planned my life to go. Like that stage without her. So when I went through the therapy sessions now, I wanted to heal very fast. I didn't want to get into to keep feeling like I am still grieving and I'm still remembering her and feeling the pain. I wanted to get over it. And I remember a therapist telling me, it is barely less than a year. Okay, it's not like he told me to prolong the grief, but he was just telling me, be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself. And I realized, so I'm trying to get so fast to reach to the end and skipping the process. So I realized, okay, I need to go slow. I need to realize that this is part of life. Though I had not planned, though I had not seen it, then I have to deal with it as it is. And I became patient with myself. So when thoughts kept coming, sometimes discouraging thoughts, I would still go back and tell myself, I would speak even loudly to myself, Frecia, be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself. And with that, I realized, I'm taking it like, it's not that I did wrong for my parent to go or for my mom to go. And now, the ultimate thing is to realize that God knows it all.
True.
God knew it all. It's us who had planned. Whatever she was mentioning, it's according to her plan. But God had the ultimate plan. And therefore, even in this process, when I'm wondering where will I be or what will happen to me and how will life unfold for me, then God had me in mind. And in his book, I'm going by his timing and not mine. So if I keep on dictating on my own terms, then I'm doing it wrong. But at that particular time when it's still fresh, I would not comprehend that. So with the time, with that understanding, it got sinking and sinking and sinking. And here I am. I'm able to share it openly without even crying. I would not really do that. I would just start sharing her experience and tears would start rolling. So to me, it's a sign of healing, of total healing. When I remember her memories, they come with joy. Because I remember the good things that would to happen and I treasure them.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. She has said something very important that has made me ask myself, what are some of the hindrances to healing, these roadblocks zenye unapata along the way zinakufanya usikie sasa?
Some of the things that can make the process of healing a bit difficult, grieving, because grieving is important. Upon death or loss or traumatic experiences, it is okay to go through the grieving process. But some things can make it a bit difficult. And maybe I can share a few. If it's a death of a loved one, a relative, if you don't see the corpse, it can make it so difficult. Like someone has passed on or has just disappeared. You looked for them, they're nowhere to be found. And you have heard people say, si hata tuletewe mwili tuzike. So the absence of corpse can make it so difficult because you keep hoping this person will one time come back. So that keeps you so traumatized. You may not heal forever.
So even refusing to go view can
also... absence of corpse and also not going to the burial. If it's a loss of someone, it is important that you go, you attend the burial. Try as much as possible, view the body so that you come into terms with the fact that they are gone. Then you also at the burials, the graveside, please make sure that you rudisha mchanga so that you release them. so that at least that mix is a bit easier. So lack of corpse, absence of corpse can make it. And in this case, I would advise, it is important that you are, after maybe if somebody passed on and they got lost in an ocean, for example, you may never get the body, but you know they are dead. So you can have a burial ceremony and have their photo put on the table and conduct a funeral service. And if possible, you can just have something symbolically to show that you have buried, even if you bury just something to show that, so that it helps you heal and you disconnect and you release them. Another thing that would make grieving difficult is culture. Our cultures are different, and African cultures are different. This community mourns this way, the other community mourns this way. There are communities that believe that you must view the body, even if you are not a relative. And if you don't view the body, you are taken to be the witch. So if my culture does not like encourage viewing of the body of people I do not know personally, I may not be comfortable to go viewing everybody in every burial I go. So if I don't mourn, I am like, they may think I'm the witch. So I am forced to view the body and I'm not comfortable. Then also,
that is also another source of trauma.
Sure. Yeah. Then on culture, African men don't cry. That is what we say. But was Jesus a man or a woman? I don't know. We know. Jesus wept. So it is encouraged that allow people to cry. When men cry, don't look at them like wanaume awali ovyo. We are not telling them, please cry. But if it comes, when tears come, allow them to flow. So when you hear some communities say, men don't cry, and you are a man, you have lost your wife, a very dear person, a mom, and people look at you and they say, you can't cry. Okay, they will not tell you, but you know what the culture says. So culture, some cultures can make grieving very, very difficult. Another thing that can make grieving difficult is the first bridge we've talked about. Moving from stage 1 to direct to stage 3. You will come back, forth and back, and you may be stuck for a longer period than the initial stage. So it's good that you look at those. And some other things that can also make grieving difficult is what people say. For example, when she lost her mom, I'm sure there are people who told her things that really helped her healing. But there are people who did or said things, like those who went to share the clothes. They made her hurt most. Someone is grieving, then you bring other things. Like, a loved one has gone, a spouse has gone, for example, a husband. And then the brothers to the late, they want to snatch everything from the wife, you know. They want a piece of land, they want titles iko wapi, you know, ile account ya KCB inaenda inafungwa haraka, you know. That can make grieving difficult because now this person is already traumatized. These other things you are doing, I'm doing more harm, and you know, some of the things, those are just a few. Can make grieving so difficult.
Fresha, is there one or two things that you remember that really made your journey difficult based on what Sena has said? You know, that one thing that, hey, ilifanya tu grieving yangu ikuwe ngumu sana.
One, as I had mentioned, is trying to heal faster. Like putting pressure on myself. Like I'm born again, so I ought not to be in this for long because I look like I don't have hope. I sound like somebody who does not believe in life after death. So I wanted to get out of it very fast. And by that I was still, it made it more difficult. Because the more I tried, the more it was painful. So I would say people and young people need to be patient with themselves. Need to be patient with themselves. And also the other thing is holding grudges, being so bitter with people. Some even don't even have an idea. Don't have a slight idea of what they did. You find like you're not talking to somebody and it is for no reason. Because there is a mindset, you know, like a default, there is a faulty thinking that comes. That you want to blame. I want to blame somebody. He or she didn't come at the right time. You know, you hold pain inside and you don't want to get out of it. The moment you let go, you release yourself. and it becomes less painful. So let go, forgive yourself, forgive somebody else, forgive even that dead person. And that is what I did. Actually, recently, not long time ago, I decided to write a letter to just trying to for a closure. I'm not saying that memories have gone completely, but as a way of coming to terms with the fact that she is gone and she's never coming back. I just wrote a letter to her. Know the things that I felt she needed to know, and the pain, what I felt like I need to blame her for everything. I just wrote it all and told it and say now it's done. So please, I have now a life. I am the one who is living, so I need to accept the fact that you're not there to help me. I am the one living, and I still have a life. I'm still young, and God has many plans for me. So just letting go and accepting that fact that he or she is not there, but you are the one who is living, and there is still hope for yourself. That helped me so much. So holding grudges, holding bitterness, and not forgiving, and trying to prove some point that you want to get faster with life and things, that's really made things not work. Not work out.
Yeah, actually picking from her, and not forgiving others and even forgiving yourself can make it so difficult for you to process the grieving well, because you are holding on to someone or something, or even yourself. Guilt is also another thing. You feel you are so guilty for whatever incidents that happened, so that can make it difficult. Another thing also is a type of death or loss. If it's a death of an elderly person, maybe this person is a she was elderly, she was aged, and the family had already started releasing her, that may be not as painful. The journey of grieving may be shorter as compared to someone who woke up in the morning, went to work or went to school, and then you get a call, they are no more. That can make it so difficult, because you wonder why you are gone too soon, and you are angry with them, and you are angry with God, and you are angry with yourself. Maybe one thing I can encourage, it is okay to feel angry. Looking at Psalms chapter 13 verse 1 to 6, the psalmist addresses his anguish and how he feels to God. Three things that should come out when you are expressing yourself, because it's a process. Address it to God. It is okay to give an address to God. God, it is not fair that you did 1, 2, 3. God, it is not fair that you have left me an orphan at this stage. God, it is not fair that I have lost my aunt in a car accident. Tell him how exactly you feel. Address to God. Then the next stage, give him your complaint. How are you feeling? What is it that you feel it's not right? Then also make your request. Now the third thing, make your request to God. Now because he has allowed, in my view, in your view, God has allowed it to happen. Of course, he had the power to stop it from happening. Not because you have allowed it to happen. God, I request, this is my request. Give us strength to move on. Please be with us, walk with us, encourage us. When we are in need, when we are so desperate and we are hopeless, please come in. God, this is my request. It's like you are making a prayer to God. Then the third thing you need to do, what the psalmist did in that chapter, he made a statement of praise. That despite all this, you are still my God. You remain on the throne. And then you connect it with Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11, that you alone, God alone knows the plans he has for you. So give him praise that you allow this to happen. But I'm sure you are with me. We are not deserted. We have a source of help anytime.
True.
So we give you praise for everything.
We have a hope. We have
a hope.
Yes, what a good way to wrap it up, we have a hope. Maybe I'll just give you Precious 30 seconds.
Yes.
And also give Senna 30 seconds. Just look into the camera and just speak to that person,
Yes.
That one thing you'd like to tell them. You can start with you.
Yes. I would like to tell you that there are things that can happen to your life. They can come. You have not planned for them, but suddenly they happen to your life. No need to blame yourself. Accept, though it may take some time, it's good to accept what has happened. It is good to be optimistic. Be positive in life. Just be positive inside yourself. What you tell yourself, I am encouraged by the verse in Psalm 62 verse 8. Trust in God at all times, my people. Tell him all your troubles, for he is our refuge. Personally, he has been my refuge. When there is nobody to talk to and I feel there is a pain inside, I go there and outpour myself to him, and surely he listens. So be patient with yourself, as I said. Trust in the process. Trust the process of healing, and believe that there is a better future. There is hope in life.
Amen.
Yes, there is
Amen.
life.
10 seconds.
Amen. Thank you. In addition to that, please seek help. Don't just keep quiet. Seek help and share as much as you can. Now I'm addressing the victim. To the support system or the caregivers, please kindly know what to do when someone is grieving. Know what to tell them, what to do to them, and please offer that support. If it's a death, please go back to that homestand. Check on them, call them, encourage them, and work with them. Then for the young people, suicide is not the best option. It's an option, yes, but it's not the best option. You have a life, and your life is sweet, yeah? When God created man, he said it is very good. So you are a God's creation. You need to live. So please, seek help. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Frecia and Sena.
Thank you so
been
much.
a pleasure to have you. Thank you guys for joining us. I'll just leave you with a verse from Philippians 4:6-7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your heart and mind in Christ Jesus.
Amen.
God bless you as you continue to deal with your grief and whatever else you may be going through. May He be your strength. Until next week, it is
Amen.
bye from us.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.
CAC TV invites you to live Sunday services on the 18th of August from 8 a.m. The services will be as follows. The children's service will be led by Reverend P.